still searching for the meaning of life? For clarity, purpose, a ready-made answer? Nietzsche would say, you don't need meaning. You need power, fire, will. That force inside you that refuses to stay down, that insists on creating, rising, moving forward, even when everything around you falls apart. Because meaning isn't something you find, it's something you create, something you impose, something you embody, fully, fiercely. But be warned, Nietzsche isn't here to comfort you. He's not offering sweet stories or spiritual shortcuts. He's here to rip you away from the illusions you've been clinging to. He wants you to see the world as it truly is. No built-in purpose, no divine plan, no guarantees. And in that terrifying freedom, that's where real life begins. That's where you start becoming more. If you're done with shallow motivation, if you're ready for clarity and want tools to think deeper and live harder, hit subscribe. This channel isn't just about ideas. It's a mental training ground, a place for those ready to take back inner power and build something real. Part 1. The Lie of Pre-Made Meaning. Most people spend their entire lives searching for meaning. They look for it in religion, and success, in morality, in what society tells them they should be. We're taught to believe that meaning comes from outside ourselves, a mission to fulfill, a path already drawn, a purpose waiting to be discovered. But Nietzsche calls that what it truly is, a comforting lie. He famously wrote, "God is dead," not just in the religious sense, but in the symbolic one. Our traditional reference points have collapsed. Old values no longer hold. The universe owes you nothing. There is no master plan, no divine blueprint, no cosmic roadmap for your life. And yes, that's terrifying, but it's also liberating. Because if life has no built-in meaning, then it's up to you to create one, to forge it from your pain, your chaos, your will. You're not here to walk a path, you're here to carve one. Nietzsche writes in The Gay Science, one must still have chaos within oneself to give birth to a dancing star. In other words, meaning doesn't come from comfort, it comes from the chaos you survive and shape. Examples: those who didn't follow the script. David Goggins, once overweight and broken, now one of the toughest endurance athletes on earth. He didn't follow some life plan. He built himself through pain, through choice, through total ownership. Jordan Peterson, deeply influenced by Nietzsche, often says, "Don't ask what you want. Ask, what burden are you willing to carry?" Elon Musk, whatever your opinion of him, he doesn't follow any social blueprint. He bends reality. He imposes his own direction, not because it's easy, but because it's his. Nietzsche would call these people forerunners of the Übermensch, beings who no longer borrow their values from the world, but create their own, even as everything around them falls apart. Let me ask you one thing. Are you living a meaning you chose, or one you simply inherited? Write it in the comments, even just one sentence. Sometimes one line of truth is enough to start breaking the spell. And if this message hits home, like this video to help these ideas spread. Subscribe to the channel, because here we don't just talk about self-help. We challenge your view of life and help you rebuild it from the inside out. Part 2. The Will to Power. Going beyond who you are. Want to give your life real meaning? Stop asking yourself what you want. Instead, ask, what inside you is striving to become more? What force is pushing you to grow, even through the pain? That's what Nietzsche calls the will to power. For Nietzsche, every human carries a vital force within, a drive that's not just about surviving, but about rising up, creating, and transcending who you already are. He writes, "Life itself appears to me as will to power. It's not a quest for pleasure, not a search for comfort. It's a will to overcome. And this will shows up everywhere. When you wake up early to work on a project no one else understands. When you refuse to be defined by past failures. When you choose solitude, discipline, effort, not to punish yourself, but to forge yourself." Nietzsche doesn't tell you, be happy. He tells you, be strong, be authentic, be the cause of your own transformation. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he writes, "Man is a rope stretched between the beast and the Overman. A bridge, not a destination, a path of constant overcoming." How to activate your own will to power? Face your uncomfortable truth. Nietzsche has no patience for those who run away. He says, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." Pain is a forge, not a punishment. Turn your chaos into a masterpiece. Maybe you're lost, confused, full of doubts. Perfect. That's exactly where something new is born. Don't wait for permission. The world will never wait to be ready to cheer you on. Create even if no one notices. Move forward even without recognition. That's power. Nietzsche versus modern victim mentality. Today, people often say, take care of yourself, it's okay if you're struggling, it's the system's fault. Nietzsche would say, no, it's your responsibility to transform yourself, even if the world is unfair, even if it's hard, because it's by carrying the weight of your life on your shoulders that you become someone rare. Harsh, yes, but that's what makes you free. Tell me in the comments, what's the hard thing you're ready to face right now? Not to suffer, but to grow. Part 3. The Overman. Crafting Your Own Life. After tearing down old beliefs, after realizing that life itself won't hand you meaning on a silver platter, Nietzsche invites you to do something far greater than just adapt. He invites you to create yourself. He writes, "Become who you are. Do what only you can do." This is the essence of the Overman. Not someone superior to others, not a tyrant, not a savior. The Overman is the one who refuses to live a life on autopilot, the one who dares to invent their own values, even if the whole world judges, rejects, or ignores them. Nietzsche doesn't give you a rule book. He hands you a hammer to break false truths and to shape your own self. The Overman is you, if you decide to be. You reject conformity. You take full responsibility for what you do, think, and become. You don't live to please or to endure. You live to express your unique power, even if no one understands your path. Nietzsche writes in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, "The Overman is the meaning of the earth. Stay faithful to the earth, and do not believe those who speak to you of otherworldly hopes." In other words, no paradise needed, no afterlife required. Everything happens here, now, in how you live. Examples: those who become their own truth. Kanye West, despite controversies, embodies Nietzsche's idea of an artist imposing his own vision of the world no matter the cost. Miyamoto Musashi, samurai and philosopher, left everything behind to forge a personal path of discipline, art, and growth. Jordan Peterson, criticized, attacked, admired, yet always aligned with his ideas, building his value system against mainstream culture. What these share? They don't just repeat the world, they transform it. What does being the Overman really mean? Nietzsche isn't talking about some abstract ideal. He's talking about concrete practices. Choose what makes you stronger, not what comforts you. Move forward even when you doubt or feel fear, because that's exactly where growth happens. Turn your suffering into power. Every wound becomes raw material to sculpt your character. Create your own definition of success. Not Instagram's, not your parents', not society's. Real success is feeling aligned, because you built a life that comes from you. Now here's a simple but vital question. If you stopped following every rule, who could you become? Write your answer in the comments, even just a sentence. Read it again tomorrow, then next week. Maybe that's the start of your transformation. If this message resonates, if you feel this philosophy can truly help you become more aware, freer, and more yourself, share it with someone who needs to wake up. Part 4. The Enemies of Meaning. You want to create your own meaning? You want a life that's aligned, free, powerful? Then you have to be ready to face the invisible forces working against you. Nietzsche knew them well. He called them out with brutal clarity. These are your inner enemies, the ones stealing your power without you even realizing it. Enemy number 1, victim mentality. Nietzsche had a deep dislike for the victim mindset. He couldn't stand pity or the tendency to dwell in suffering. It's not suffering that makes a man weak, it's how he responds to it. When you say, "I'm not at fault. I just had bad luck. Others held me back," you give your power away to outside forces. You move away from the will to power. You become dependent on others' opinions or circumstances. Nietzsche would tell you, you're not guilty, but you are responsible. Responsible for what you do with what happens to you. Enemy number 2, conformity. The second enemy is conformity. That need to be accepted, validated, loved by the majority. But the majority only wants you to stay average, to follow the crowd, not to rock the boat, not to think too much. Nietzsche says it plainly, the herd despises the one who walks alone. Creating your own meaning means daring to step out of the herd, having the courage to think differently, act differently, even if you start out alone. And you know this, the biggest changes in your life never began with a consensus. Enemy number 3, resistance to change. Finally, the third enemy is resistance to change. You want meaning, but you also want to stay safe, comfortable in what you know, your routines, your habits. But Nietzsche is clear, comfort is a trap. True meaning never grows on the couch, it's born in effort, in transformation. He wrote, "The snake that cannot shed its skin will die." And you? What are you refusing to let go of, even though it's holding you back? Write it down in the comments. Even just one sentence, because naming it is already taking back control. And if this part hit a chord inside you, hit like right now. Not to please the algorithm, but to anchor this awakening in your reality. Part 5. How to create your own meaning. Practical steps. Understanding Nietzsche is one thing, but living Nietzsche, that's something else entirely. Because his philosophy isn't just a brilliant idea to admire from a distance, it's a call to transform, to create your own meaning, not by running away from life, but by facing it head-on. So here are 4 concrete steps you can start using right now to embody this philosophy. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. 1. Become aware of your conditioning. You might not see it yet, but your thoughts, your choices, your view of the world are largely shaped by what you've been taught to believe. Family, school, society, religion, social media, all of these have scripted a story for you. Get a stable job, fit in, don't rock the boat, seek approval rather than truth. But Nietzsche tells us, one must still have chaos within oneself to give birth to a dancing star. In other words, only by daring to break free from your conditioning can you begin to create something truly unique. Practical exercise? Grab a notebook and write down what are 5 beliefs you've never dared to question. Ideas that everyone thinks, that you've always believed, but that no longer truly fit who you are. This awareness is the first step toward your freedom. 2. Face your suffering instead of running away. Step 2 is to stop avoiding pain. Nietzsche doesn't say, suffer for the sake of suffering. He says, don't shy away from what shapes your soul. What does not kill me makes me stronger. It's become a cliché, but for Nietzsche, it's a law of transformation. Every hardship, loss, and injustice can become a fire inside you, a source of strength. Look at Jordan Peterson. He turned his own darkness into a universal message, not by denying pain, but by confronting it with courage. Practical exercise? Remember a tough moment in your life. Ask yourself, what did this challenge teach me about who I am? Could it be a step toward a stronger version of myself? Every pain you accept becomes a brick. You decide whether to build a prison or a temple. 3. Write your own rules. Nietzsche doesn't want you to follow his rules. He wants you to make your own. Become who you are. That means discover what only you alone can become. Not a copy, not an improved version of someone else, but an original work. To do that, you need to observe yourself every day. When do you feel truly alive? What actions give you energy, meaning, a fire inside? And which ones drain you, numb you, take you away from yourself? Simple but powerful tip. Every evening, write in a notebook, today, what did I do that was really me? Even a small act counts. A genuine word, a brave decision, a healthy no. Day after day, you'll see your identity not as a given, but as a work of art. 4. Live as if you had to relive this life forever. This is the most radical and the most beautiful idea. Nietzsche calls it the eternal recurrence. What if a demon told you, you must live every moment of your life over and over for eternity? Would you say yes to that? Again and again, countless times? This idea is a test. Are you living a life you would gladly live forever? Do your daily choices, your work, your habits deserve to be repeated infinitely? Nietzsche doesn't want you to scare you. He wants you to inspire you to choose every moment with power. Not to be perfect, but to stop just surviving. To dare to live consciously. Next time you face a choice, big or small, ask yourself, if I had to make this choice every day for eternity, would I still choose it? If the answer is no, maybe it's time to change direction. And that's exactly how you create your own meaning. Now it's time to take action. Not tomorrow, now. Pick one of these 4 steps and apply it today. Reflect on your conditioning. Transform a pain. Write a personal rule. Make a choice you'd gladly relive. Then share in the comments, here's what I'm doing today to create my own meaning. Do it for yourself, but do it publicly. That's the first step toward commitment. If you'd like, I can put together a short practical guide with simple, powerful exercises to help you actually live out this philosophy day by day. Just drop a yes in the comments and hit like to let me know you're interested. You've just journeyed through the world of a thinker who for over a century has shaken minds, stirred souls, and sparked freedom. Friedrich Nietzsche, not just a philosopher, a flame that doesn't want you to just believe, but to become. You've seen that life's meaning isn't found in dogma, not in religion nor social rules. Meaning is made, and you are the artist. You are the architect. You are the sculptor of your own being. Become who you are. This is not a catchy slogan. It's a sacred call, an invitation to move beyond mere survival and step into creation. And now the real question stands, not in theory, but in your present moment. Are you ready to step out of waiting, to stop putting your life off until tomorrow, to quit searching for a master, a guru, a model, and finally choose yourself, not as an ego, but as a free, conscious, living will? You now know that chaos is part of the process, that suffering isn't your enemy, that your uniqueness is your power. And every day is a blank canvas. It's up to you to decide whether you fill it or let others draw on it for you. Quick recap of the essentials. You weren't born to follow a ready-made meaning. The will to power is your ability to rise up, create, and transform. You can turn suffering into a stepping stone, not an excuse. The Overman isn't a superhero, it's you, refusing to betray yourself. And the ultimate meaning is the one you dare to invent. If this video gave you a new perspective, like it. It helps more people discover these ideas. Share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Subscribe if you want more deep, no-fluff content like this. And don't forget to turn on the bell so you never miss a new video. Thank you for listening all the way through. If you did, it means you're not like the rest. You're searching for more than advice. You're searching to understand, to feel, to grow. That's rare. That's precious. And above all, that's exactly what the world needs. See you soon for the next masterclass. Until then, live, dare, create, because no one else will do it for you. See you soon, right here on Deep Life Lessons.